Arsenal fans, wh- what is going on? Now, listen, I'm going to do my best to stay humble. A wise man once told me to stay humble, or told Arteta to stay humble. I'm going to try to stay humble on this recording. Um, Here in Toronto, we're, you know, six six hours post finding that Arsenal has won the Premier League, first time in 24 years. Sorry, 22 years. Whoa, not 24, 22 years. Um, and you know what? It feels great. Um, to be honest with you, I'm at a loss for words about what to say, what not to say, how to tell myself to remain humble and um, like looking being all over social media over the past couple hours and just kind of looking at the outpour of joy from Arsenal fans and on the flip side looking at the outpour of hatred coming from rival fans. Um Now before I get into that, welcome back. It's Mehrdad from the Gunners Corner. I'm sure CJ will be posting as well for our reactions. We both want to get on the pod, but again, we're responsibilities take over sometimes. So we will definitely have our normal pod released on Friday where the three of us will be on there and you'll see our reaction with all three of us. But I just wanted to do a quick little recording just to give you my reaction and um, really the way that I look at this, right? From the beginning of the season, my preseason prediction was that Arsenal were going to win the Premier League. Declan Rice was going to win the PFA Player of the Year. Mikel Arteta was going to win the Manager of the Year. Um, and you know what? Majority of my preseason predictions are actually coming true. Um, had Holland as the Golden Boot winner. I had West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves. I got two out of the three correct. Underachieving team of the year, I got wrong because Manchester United is currently in third place, and it looks like they're actually overachieving. My overachieving team of the year, Everton. To be honest with you, I wouldn't categorize them as um, underachieving. I think they're where they should be, and I think they could have done better. And then my manager of the year is actually David Moyes. My apologies. Um, so all in all, I'm saying that because you know I've been on Arsenal the entire time, and clearly you guys can see behind my background. I got a Declan Rice signed jersey. I got Arsenal paraphernalia everywhere. I'm wearing my Arsenal kit. Um, I can't believe it. 2026 was a year where my twins were born, and um, just kind of reflecting today, just looking at them, and just they will never understand the feeling, right? They will never understand. Hopefully, when they're a little bit older, when Arsenal win again, um, they'll be able to see it. We'll be able to travel to London. But this is a surreal feeling. Celebration police, respectfully, go fuck yourself. We won the Premier League without even kicking the ball. Um, Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, you were the one who said Arteta out. Yeah, I'm still I'm not changing my tone in the sense that I still have a lot of doubts about Mikel Arteta for longevity wise, right? The last pod that we were talking about is I want managers to be able to repeat, right? For me, a great manager is one that can repeat. I touted that once Pep Guardiola leaves, the best manager in the Premier League is Unai Emery because the CV speaks for itself. Now Mikel Arteta can get up there. Like if he wins a Champions League and he wins a Premier League, okay, then I do have to kind of backtrack a little bit, but it still doesn't mean the fact that it doesn't take away from the fact that I have concerns about his man management. right? But today, I want to just talk about happy things. For those of you who haven't looked, you can see the players' reactions. They were all hanging out together. The streets of London are flooded. If you go to our Instagram page at the Gunners Corner, we've been posting nonstop in our story. Ian Wright was seen at the Emirates celebrating with Robbie from AFTV and all the fans and outpouring Uncle Righty. This is what it means. And yes, you're going to have the haters that are going to say, oh, well, it took you 24 or 22 years. It took you this long. You still haven't won the Champions League, Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that, yada, yada, yada. We have all those receipts. We have the receipts of that Man City fan drinking out of an Arsenal bottle, calling us bottlers. And you got Miles Lewis Skelly in the locker room with Bukayo Saka, two Arsenal Academy players, saying they call us bottlers and we're holding the bottle. The players know all these narratives, right? Yes, as fans, it's been very difficult for us this season because we thought it would have been done back in January, back in February when Man City were dropping points, and we also were not taking advantage, right? We got over the line, period. Hard stop. Alan Smith was on post-match reaction of the Man City Bournemouth game, and he even said he's like, Sellers Park is a difficult game. You want to go into that game with nothing mattering, and now we can go into that game, rest our players, play a rotated side, and make sure that everybody's ready to go for the Champions League final. If Jurriën Timber is back, get some minutes into his legs. You never know. He might come in handy. You can rest Saliba. You can rest Gabriel. Right? You can rest Declan Rice. You can play a Christian Norgard. You can rest Zubamani. Like you can rest the players that have been dying for some rest, right? And we can go all out for the Champions League final. There's no doubt that the PSG are the best team, the best offensive team in the world. Period. Now I know a lot of some of you may be screaming at this at the YouTube screen or at your phones being like, oh, what about Bayern Munich? And there are no, 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 no. PSG have the most fluid forward line in the world. On the flip side, Arsenal have the best defense in the world. Heart stop. 6 goals given up in the entire Champions League. We've gone invincible in the Champions League till this point. We got one more game to make sure that it is an invincible year in the Champions League and the Premier League. We had the best defense, and year over year, we have proven that we are the best defensive team in Europe. And it paid off. We are the champions of the Premier League. For those of you in the back, we are the champions of the Premier League. It is surreal. I know it doesn't seem like it, that I haven't processed it. I'm in the midst of booking my ticket to go to London next week with my brother, um, and just trying to soak it all in. The countless hours of watching Arsenal during the banter era, the countless hours of, messaging back and forth with CJ and a bunch of my other Arsenal friends, the countless heartbreaks watching Arsenal constantly lose, the countless memes that I saw about, oh, trust the process, we're in stage one, two, three, or four, whatever. We're here. We made it. And you know, I think a wise man in Roy Keane, he said it best. If all the other teams are talking about you and they're just trying to bring you down, it means you're doing something right. There's that old saying, if you're doing things right, you are gonna have haters. No matter what, if you are doing things right, you will have haters. And looks like Arsenal are doing something right because everywhere you look, we have haters. Whether it's Chelsea fans, United fans, Liverpool fans, Spurs fans, who should really stay in their lane because, they could catch a stray or two, but, you know, Liverpool fans, like you just won your second in the Premier League era. You just won your second one. Like, let's keep it a buck. All these teams that are speaking out, they've never been invincible. Never. It's never been done. Right? So I think for me, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, the biggest thing that I can tell you to do is please enjoy this. Enjoy every single last second. Don't let anyone bring you down. Don't let the haters say their bullshit. It took you 22 years, yada yada yada. There's so much context into things that there's no reason to entertain goofballs. There's zero reason to entertain goofballs. Like Arteta said, that with those people that are trying to be haters, we know exactly where to put them. We're the champs. At Sellers Park, there's going to be a guard of honor for the Arsenal. Now, I wish it was at the Emirates, but it's at Sellers. So there's what, 2,000 away fans. And there is a potential that not only are we going to be crowned the Premier League champions at Sellers Park, by the end of the day on Sunday, there is a possibility that Tottenham Hotspur will be relegated. So, what can I say? Our biggest rival, we win the Premier League, they get relegated. Couldn't get any sweeter, right? I don't know what else to say, and I do apologize if it seems a little dead. It seems a little flat. It's surreal. Simply put, it is surreal. I keep thinking back to the last few games for Unai Emery before the pandemic hit, and the Europa League final, and during the pandemic when Arsenal were, you know, just getting red cards left, right, and center. Granit Xhaka was, booed off by the Arsenal fans during the Unai Emery era, and we had Freddie Lundberg as our manager for a certain period of time, and then Mikel comes in, outlines, 4 to 5 stage plan. He wins an FA Cup right away. We were starting the likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Matteo Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira and Socrates and Mustafi and David Luiz, and Mesut Ozil was vilified. Yeah, that's what we went through. Like Lacazette, Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe. Man, did he get scolded. And then you got the likes of Anthony and Garnacho and these people that Mudryk. We went through all of that, Arsenal fans. We went through all of that. We went through being in relegation zone for what? I think it was what, the 2022 season where we were in the relegation zone after 5 to 10 games. Like we just kept losing. Everyone was asking for Arteta's head by December, and then we turned it around. We went through all of that. Like if you stuck through all of that, like bravo. Because I know those were tough times. I know those were tough times that CJ and I would bash heads and you know talk about Arteta out, Arteta this, Arteta that, and now it's he got us over the line. And the last thing that I will say before I just wrap it up, because again, I recognize that I still haven't fully grasped what's going on, and I'm trying to pump something out and have a little bit of a therapy session because I don't think I'm fully grasping the how real this is until I land in London and until I see all the Arsenal fans. The last thing, the last thing that I want to leave every single one of you with is It's moments like these where we are fans of the sport. It's moments like these, the joy, the admiration, the happiness. Yes, it is just football. But to those that follow it on a week to week basis, on a daily basis, listening to podcasts, doing FPL, listening to podcasts or creating podcasts or just taking content in, this is a religion. And Arsenal fans, we fucking did it. To all those players, and again, I hope that one day our podcast gets to a point where these players listen to us. To the players, thank you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for having a backbone. Thank you for getting it over the line. We doubted you. Straight up. Straight up. Myself included, and I know CJ will probably say it on his recording as well. We doubted you, but you got it over the line. You were led by this man behind me, Declan Rice. After the City game, he said, "It's not done. It's not done." You know. So remember, haters are gonna be there. Comment section are gonna be there. But at the end of the day, we are the champions. As always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the bell. We got more content coming your way. And I know CJ and I will both be in England, in London, sorry, London, England, celebrating during the parade. So check out for some live content when we're there. Um, we appreciate you. I know CJ will say it, and I don't know we'll say it on our next pod as well. But we genuinely appreciate every single one of you for taking time out of your day to listen to our podcast, to humor us, and to engage with us. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this to have some therapy, and maybe some of you connect with some of the things that we say. Maybe some of you disagree with the things that we say, and that's all right. We want it to be a therapy session, and we want you to engage with us. And if you have feedback, please let us know. On that bombshell, the 2025-2026 Premier League champions out.